Hello and welcome to CVR News Network. You're watching CVR English and these are the headlines of the hour. Jaishankar warns of deep strikes in Pakistan if terror attacks continue. Amit Shah chairs high-level meeting on flood management at North Block. Kharge adjusts PM to elect Deputy Lok Sabha Speaker, flags historic two-term vacancy. Kejriwal slams BJP over Atishi's detention, says Delhi ruined in just 3 months. Fire on MV van high 503 buses off Kerala coast as Coast Guard continues operations. The news in detail. During a joint press conference in Brussels with EU High Representative and Vice President Khaja Khalas, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar described the meeting as a very productive, highlighting discussions on key areas such as defense, maritime cooperation, and cyber security. Acknowledging that India and the EU may not always share identical perspectives, Jaishankar emphasized the importance of expanding common ground, deepening mutual understanding, and building greater trust to strengthen the strategic partnership between the two sides. The dialogue marks a continued effort to align on global challenges and enhance bilateral cooperation.
I believe we had a very open and productive meeting today. It is still continuing. We'll go back to our discussions after this. And we had touched on defense and security, on maritime security, on cyber, on space, as you heard from the High Representative. My meeting was preceded by a call on President von der Leyen this morning. I will also be meeting with Commissioners Šefčovič, Sikela, and Kubilius during my stay, and I hope to interact with President Metsola and members of the European Parliament also during this visit. Now, my visit to Brussels is taking place 3 months after that of the EU College of Commissioners to India. Even in that time, it is apparent that the world order was in the midst of a profound change. These trends have intensified in many ways. We have, without doubt, entered an era of multipolarity and strategic autonomy. As two important poles of that emerging reality, there is a powerful case for India and European Union to forge deeper ties. Working towards that goal requires intensified cooperation in many domains, which is the reason why we are meeting. I believe we had a very open and productive meeting today. It is still continuing. We'll go back to our discussions after this. And we had touched on defense and security, on maritime security, on cyber, on space, as you heard from the High Representative. My meeting was preceded by a call on President von der Leyen this morning. I will also be meeting with Commissioners Šefčovič, Sikela, and Kubilius during my stay, and I hope to interact with President Metsola and members of the European Parliament also during this visit. Now, my visit to Brussels is taking place 3 months after that of the EU College of Commissioners to India. Even in that time, it is apparent that the world order was in the midst of a profound
In their outrage, Congress leader Shashi Tharoor stated that Pakistan has lost his narrative on the global stage, reflecting on his recent visit to the United States. He said that American lawmakers not only understood but strongly supported India's position following the Pahalgam terror attack. Tharoor noted that Pakistan's attempts to portray itself as a victim of extremism failed to gain traction, with no one accepting its claims of innocence of unprovoked aggression by India. Tharoor further conveyed that he had warned interlocutors about the dangers of nurturing extremism, using the analogy of that as if you raise a snake in your house and don't expect it to bite only your enemies. His remarks underscored the clarity with which India's stance was received internationally.
അമേരിക്കയിൽ എന്തായാലും ഞാൻ കണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നത് അവരുടെ നാരറ്റീവിന് ഒരു സാധ്യതയും ഇല്ല. അതുമാത്രമല്ല, ഞങ്ങൾ പറഞ്ഞതൊക്കെ എല്ലാവരും സ്വീകരിച്ചു എന്ന് മാത്രമല്ല, അവർ പോയി ഒരു കോൺഗ്രസ്മാനെ കണ്ടപ്പോൾ അദ്ദേഹം കൊടുത്ത തിരിച്ചടിയും അദ്ദേഹം അത് കഴിഞ്ഞ് സാമൂഹ്യ മാധ്യമത്തിൽ ഇറക്കിയ ട്വീറ്റ്സും കണ്ടു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ പാകിസ്ഥാൻ ശരിക്കും തലതാത്തി പിന്നെ കരയേണ്ടി വരും. അവരുടെ എതിരാണ് എല്ലാം പറഞ്ഞിരിക്കുന്നത്. നിങ്ങൾ എന്തുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഇപ്പോൾ ഈ ഭീകരവാദികളെ നിങ്ങൾ ഒളിക്കണത്? എന്തുകൊണ്ടാണ് ജെയ്ഷെ മുഹമ്മദിൻ്റെ ആൾക്കാർ ഇപ്പോൾ കൂടി നിങ്ങളുടെ നാട്ടിൽ ഓടി നടക്കണത്? എന്തുകൊണ്ടാണ് ലഷ്കർ ഇ തോയ്ബ അവർ ജോലി ചെയ്യുന്നത്? ഓരോന്നായിട്ട് ചോദിക്കാനുള്ളത്. ഇതാണ് പാകിസ്ഥാൻ്റെ ഒരു ഭയങ്കര വീക്ക് കേസാണല്ലോ. അവർ പറഞ്ഞ് നടക്കുന്നത് അയ്യോ ഞങ്ങളൊന്നും ചെയ്തില്ല, ഇന്ത്യക്കാർ അനാവശ്യമായിട്ട് ഞങ്ങളെ അറ്റാക്ക് ചെയ്തെന്നായിരുന്നു. അത് കേൾക്കാൻ ആർക്കും താല്പര്യം ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നില്ല. രണ്ടാമത്തത് അവർ പറയുന്നു അയ്യോ ഞങ്ങളെ ഭീകരവാദികളുടെ വിക്ടമാണ്, ബിലാവൽ ഭുട്ടോ എൻ്റെ അമ്മയെ അവർ കൊന്നു. പക്ഷേ നമ്മുടെ സ്വന്തം വീട്ടിൽ നമ്മൾ പാമ്പ് വളർത്തിയാൽ നമ്മുടെ അയൽവാസികളെ മാത്രമേ കടിക്കുള്ളൂ എന്ന് വിചാരിക്കേണ്ടെന്ന് ഒരു ചൊല്ലുണ്ടത്. അതിൽ ഞാൻ എല്ലാവരുടെയും അടിച്ചു വെച്ചു. അമേരിക്കയിൽ എന്തായാലും ഞാൻ കണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നത് അവരുടെ നാരറ്റീവിന് ഒരു സാധ്യതയും ഇല്ല. അതുമാത്രമല്ല, ഞങ്ങൾ പറഞ്ഞതൊക്കെ എല്ലാവരും സ്വീകരിച്ചു എന്ന് മാത്രമല്ല, അവർ പോയി ഒരു കോൺഗ്രസ്മാനെ കണ്ടപ്പോൾ അദ്ദേഹം കൊടുത്ത തിരിച്ചടിയും അദ്ദേഹം അത് കഴിഞ്ഞ് സാമൂഹ്യ മാധ്യമത്തിൽ ഇറക്കിയ ട്വീറ്റ്സും കണ്ടു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ പാകിസ്ഥാൻ ശരിക്കും തലതാത്തി പിന്നെ കരയേണ്ടി വരും. അവരുടെ എതിരാണ് എല്ലാം പറഞ്ഞിരിക്കുന്നത്. നിങ്ങൾ എന്തുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഇപ്പോൾ ഈ ഭീകരവാദികളെ നിങ്ങൾ ഒളിക്കണത്? എന്തുകൊണ്ടാണ് ജെയ്ഷെ മുഹമ്മദിൻ്റെ ആൾക്കാർ?
Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis has expressed confidence that active Maoism will be eradicated by March 2026, crediting the Modi's government decisive actions. Referring to Union Home Minister Amit Shah's statement, Fadnavis said that significant progress has been made in anti-Naxal operations, particularly in Maharashtra, where successful campaigns have been conducted over the past decade. Fadnavis further criticized the previous Congress-led governments in Chhattisgarh, claiming that Naxalism had surged during their tenure. However, with the BJP now in power, he noted that effective and joint operations have been launched, leading to a marked decline in Maoist activity. Fadnavis affirmed that the government remains committed to eliminating the threat of Naxalism and restore peace in affected regions.
मोदी सरकार के कार्यकाल में माओइज्म पर बहुत ही इफेक्टिव काम हुआ है. अगर हम देखें तो देश के प्रधानमंत्री जी के नेतृत्व में हमारे गृह मंत्री जी ने जो देश को वादा किया है, मार्च 2026 तक जितने एक्टिव कैडर है उनको समाप्त किया जाएगा. एक्टिव नक्सलिज्म जो है या माओइज्म है उसको समाप्त किया जाएगा. उसके ऊपर बहुत जोरों से कार्रवाई चल रही है. वैसे महाराष्ट्र जैसे राज्य ने तो पिछले 10 सालों में बहुत अच्छे ऑपरेशंस किए, लेकिन 5 साल जब कांग्रेस की सरकार छत्तीसगढ़ में थी तो बड़े पैमाने पर नक्सल भर्ती वहां पर हुई है. इसके कारण एक नया प्रश्न तैयार हुआ. लेकिन जब से बीजेपी की गवर्नमेंट वहां आई है बहुत बड़े ऑपरेशन शुरू हुए और अब हम लोग ज्वाइंट ऑपरेशन भी कर रहे हैं. और इसके कारण नक्सलवाद की कमर टूट गई है और मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि आने वाले दिनों में हम इसको समाप्त करके रहेंगे.
Addressing a press conference, AAP leader and Delhi Legislative Assembly LOP Atishi launched a scathing attack on BJP, alleging that the party had hired top lawyers in the Delhi High Court to facilitate the demolition of slums inhabited by the poor. She claimed that the true face of the BJP government has been exposed as slums were being razed one after the another and those protesting were subjecting to police brutality. Asserting her party's resolve, Atishi declared that AAP leaders were not afraid of the arrest or police action and would continue to stand by Delhi's underprivileged. Even if they AAP, every leader is jailed.
बीजेपी ने इन गरीब झुग्गी वालों के खिलाफ बड़े बड़े वकील दिल्ली हाईकोर्ट में खड़े कर दिए कि हम तुम्हें मकान नहीं देंगे, हम तुम्हारी झुग्गी तोड़ेंगे. तो पहले भाजपा वाले कोर्ट से ऑर्डर लेके आते हैं, फिर उस कोर्ट के ऑर्डर के पीछे छुप के कहते हैं जी कोर्ट का ऑर्डर है। आज दिल्ली वालों ने भारतीय जनता पार्टी का असली चेहरा देख लिया है। वो एक एक करके दिल्ली में से सारी झुग्गियां साफ कर रहे हैं। आज जब भूमिहीन कैंप के लोगों को वहां से जबरदस्ती निकाला जा रहा था, जिन लोगों ने विरोध किया उनको बर्बरता से डंडों से मारा गया। कई भूमिहीन कैंप के निवासियों को डिटेन करके फतेहपुर बेरी पुलिस स्टेशन लेके गए। जब मैं वहां पे पहुंची तो मुझे भी वहां पे पुलिस ने मेरे साथ धक्का मुक्की की, मुझे डिटेन करके झड़ोदा कला कालका जी से तकरीबन 40-45 किलोमीटर दूरी पे लेके गए। वहां पर आज डीसीपी साउथ ईस्ट हेमंत तिवारी और गोविंदपुरी एसएचओ धर्मवीर सिंह ने महिलाओं के साथ हाथापाई करी है, महिलाओं पर डंडे चलाए हैं और हम उनके खिलाफ भी कंप्लेंट करेंगे।
India's Coast Guard continues its firefighting efforts to control the blaze aboard the Singapore-flagged container ship MV Van Hai 503, which caught fire following an explosion off Kerala's coast. As of 5 p.m. hours today, visible flames have subsided, but thick smoke continues to billow from the vessel. The ship, which was en route from Colombo to Mumbai, is currently listing 10 to 15 degrees Celsius to port, with several containers, some purportedly carrying hazardous materials, have fallen overboard. Indian Coast Guard ships Samudra Prahari and Sachet remain on site conducting boundary cooling and firefighting operations, while search efforts continue for 4 missing crew members. The Karnataka High Court came down heavily on the state government while hearing petitions related to the Bengaluru Stampede case. Criticizing procedural lapses and lack of accountability, the court raised 9 key questions concerning crowd management, permissions, and emergency preparedness. It slammed the government over its handling of the incident and errors that followed. The court also noted the state's failure to inform about the transfer of investigation and questioned the request to submit responses in a sealed cover. The Advocate General was asked to provide detailed clarifications on the government actions. Telangana Chief Minister Revanth Reddy's visit to Delhi is underway, where he held crucial meetings with AICC President Mallikarjun Kharge and Lok Sabha opposition leader Rahul Gandhi. The discussions focused on the allocation of the portfolios to the newly inducted ministers. Following the recent cabinet expansions in the state, reports suggest that changes in the responsibilities of some existing ministers and other organizational matters were also deliberated. Meanwhile, the Congress party has decided to organize 2 major public meetings in Telangana, one on SC subcategorization and another on BC caste enumeration. Revanth Reddy requested Kharge and Rahul Gandhi to finalize the dates and attend these events. The party leadership also provided strategic guidance to the Chief Minister on upcoming initiatives and emphasized the need to highlight the failures of Modi government over the past 11 years to the public. During his visit to Vijayawada, Union Minister and BJP Telangana President Kishan Reddy held a special lunch meeting with TDP Chief and Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister and Chandrababu Naidu at the latest residence. The two leaders reportedly discussed key issues including central assistance and pending developmental projects in Andhra Pradesh. Kishan Reddy mentioned the topics such as mining and infrastructure initiatives were also part of discussions. The meeting also briefly touched upon recent political developments, including the matters related to Telangana. As protesters marched in downtown Los Angeles towards the courthouse where labor leader David Huerta was being held, U.S. authorities said the military will temporarily deploy about 700 Marines to Los Angeles until more National Guard troops can arrive, marking another escalation in President Donald Trump's response to street protests over his aggressive immigration policies. A U.S. official speaking on the condition of anonymity said a battalion would be sent on temporary duty until more National Guard troops could reach the scene. For now, Trump administration was not invoking the Insurrection Act, which would allow troops to directly participate in civilian law enforcement.